Brandon Gibbs embraces positivity after health scare, where he stands with Julia Trubkina today. 90 Day. The Last Resort has offered fans of the franchise a deeper look into the real-life struggles behind their favorite couple's social media smiles. One pair that especially stood out this season was Brandon Gibbs and Julia Trubkina. Despite their often lighthearted and affectionate presence online, the couple revealed some hard truths during couples therapy on the show, and the weeks following the tell-all have shown that they're still working through major changes. From confessions of infidelity to emotional breakdowns and health issues, Brandon and Julia's journey has been anything but smooth. Yet, despite it all, Brandon is emerging with a new outlook, and Julia is cheering him on. Now, fans are wondering what this renewed mindset means for his future, both with Julia and as an individual. Julia Trubkina's shocking revelations about Brandon's health. One of the most surprising revelations came after the tell-all was filmed, when Julia opened up about Brandon's health behind the scenes. She shared that Brandon had recently been hospitalized due to severe anxiety, the detail that was never revealed during their early appearances on 90 Day Fiancé. This emotional revelation put a new light on Brandon's typically reserved personality and helped fans understand the pressure he had been under in recent years. Brandon's anxiety wasn't only connected to his professional stress or lifestyle changes. It was also deeply rooted in his relationship with Julia. The couple, who originally appeared on 90 Day Fiancé Season 8, had faced numerous challenges since their engagement, including cultural differences, financial worries, and most notably, trust issues stemming from Julia's past infidelity. The infidelity that shaped their early marriage. During their time on The Last Resort, Julia made a stunning admission. She had cheated on Brandon during their engagement. The revelation hit Brandon hard. Although he didn't disclose it at the time of their 90 Day Fiancé debut, Julia had kissed her ex-boyfriend, creating a long-lasting rift in their relationship that Brandon carried into their marriage. What made things even more complicated was the secrecy. Brandon had chosen not to share this part of their story with his parents, Ron and Betty Gibbs, possibly fearing they would pressure him to break off the engagement. But when the truth finally came out, Ron and Betty surprised everyone by being relatively unfazed. During the tell-all, they downplayed the severity of Julia's betrayal, suggesting that they had grown to trust her and accept her as part of the family regardless. Brandon, however, didn't find it so easy to let go. Throughout the season, he appeared visibly hurt and frustrated when Julia brought up her past mistake. The emotional burden of that betrayal, compounded by anxiety and pressure to maintain a united front, likely played a large role in his mental health challenges. Brandon's hospitalization and his path toward healing. Though the hospitalization came as a surprise to many fans, it served as a wake-up call for Brandon. It was clear he had been carrying emotional baggage for too long, and it was starting to take a toll on his physical and mental well-being. Julia, despite their rocky past, was the one to break the news about his condition. She did not share the exact timeline or specific triggers for the hospitalization, but confirmed it was related to his ongoing struggle with anxiety. This was a major turning point for Brandon. Rather than retreat further into stress and silence, he took a different route. He began to prioritize healing. And the first step in that journey was letting go of the negativity that had weighed him down for years. Let's cancel out some negativity. Brandon's new life mantra. Recently, Brandon posted a cheerful update on Instagram that marked a refreshing shift in his tone and outlook. In the photo, he could be seen holding a small goat and smiling widely. The caption read, "Let's cancel out some negativity." He invited followers to take a moment and appreciate something simple and sweet. In this case, the adorable animal he was cradling. "Just look at how positively cute this goat is," he added. While the post was playful, it symbolized something far deeper for those who followed Brandon's story. his decision to publicly share a moment of peace and joy felt like a conscious choice to shift away from the pain and negativity of the past. One of the first people to respond was none other than Giulia. She kept her comment short and sweet, simply writing, "Cute." It may have been brief, but it hinted that the couple still shared affection and mutual support despite their ups and downs. What Brandon's positivity really means. Brandon's message about canceling out negativity could be interpreted in several ways, especially given the emotional terrain he's navigated over the past few years. It may reflect his decision to stop holding on to past grievances, particularly Giulia's infidelity, and focus instead on the present and future. Brandon has always come across as quiet and emotionally guarded. During earlier seasons, he often struggled to stand up to his overprotective parents, to communicate clearly with Giulia, or to voice his own needs. It's possible that his anxiety was compounded by this lack of emotional release. Bottling things up likely made it harder for him to process betrayal and disappointment. By publicly acknowledging the importance of positivity, Brandon seems to be telling the world, and maybe even himself, that he's choosing a healthier mindset. He may have realized that trust cannot be rebuilt without forgiveness, and that healing requires him to let go of what he cannot change. The couple's dynamic, still together but with some distance. While Brandon's post inspired warm reactions, it also raised questions about where he and Giulia stand now. Not long before the photo was shared, Giulia had made a cryptic Instagram post of her own. In it, she declared that she was going to focus on herself, her dogs, her business, family, and friends. Notably absent from the list, Brandon. For fans who have followed their journey, this felt like a potential red flag. Was Giulia signaling a break from Brandon, or was she just emphasizing her own need for independence? Some fans speculated that Giulia may have been creating intentional drama to keep viewers engaged. Others felt she could be asserting her individuality after years of navigating life on Brandon's farm under the close watch of his parents. Either way, her comment on Brandon's photo suggests that while the couple may be facing challenges, they haven't completely separated. Their dynamic has always been complex. Giulia, originally from Russia, is outspoken, bold, and eager for adventure. Brandon, in contrast, is more reserved and cautious. Their personalities often clash, but it's clear that they care deeply for each other. Whether that affection is enough to sustain their marriage long-term is still uncertain, but their recent interactions point to a shared willingness to move forward in some capacity. Why Brandon and Giulia's story still resonates. Unlike some reality TV couples who thrive on chaos, Brandon and Giulia's story has always felt uniquely grounded in real-world issues. Miscommunication, cultural differences, family interference, and personal growth. Their struggles with trust and mental health have made them among the more relatable couples in the 90-day universe. Brandon's recent efforts to embrace positivity show that healing in a relationship doesn't always come with grand declarations or sudden transformations. Sometimes it's a quiet shift, a photo with a goat, a kind comment from a partner, a reminder to appreciate the present. Giulia's willingness to stand by Brandon through his health crisis, despite their past conflicts, also reveals a side of her that viewers don't always get to see. Behind her sarcasm and bold personality is a woman who cares deeply and knows how to show up when it matters most. What's next for Brandon and Giulia? At this point, Brandon and Giulia haven't officially confirmed a breakup or a renewed commitment. What we do know is that they are still connected, still communicating, and still navigating life in a way that leaves room for growth, individually and possibly as a couple. If Brandon continues down the path of emotional recovery, he may be better equipped to create the kind of life he wants, whether that's with Giulia by his side or not. And Giulia, who has often felt torn between her own ambitions and Brandon's more traditional values, might also find balance in focusing on herself while supporting her husband. In many ways, their journey is just beginning.